Hi, here he is, an old friend, Bills Hall of Fame quarterback Jim Kelly, joining us on the show. Great seeing you, Jimbo. How were your holidays, man?
Awesome. Very good. We spent it here in Orchard Park, and my son-in-law and my daughter here. My daughter, who's going to grad school at Liberty, is home, so it's awesome. Can't complain. And the Bills won.
I gotta tell you, man, that Liberty football program is impressive.
They're doing unbelievable. I mean, she's huge. I mean, of course, Liberty played Oregon this past week, and my nephew, my brother Kevin's son, played tight end for Oregon. So it's a little bit of both. Who do we pull for? We were hoping both would do well, and they did. So all good.
Awesome. Are you a New Year's resolution guy or no?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've pulled a bunch of them. I'm all my medicine that I'm taking from 2013, my first bout of cancer. Trying to get off all of them and trying to feel better, trying to focus more. And of course, I'm very Christian now, and I'm making some moves on my own and surprising my wife, and she's loving it. But as far as just cheering the Bills on, but I yell at the TV a little bit too much. So.
Yeah, I hear that. And I tell you, for the last 2 weeks, a lot of Bills fans have been yelling at the TV. So that's segue to that, Kelly Tough. The team has obviously struggled, and isn't it weird? Like, I've fallen into this rabbit hole of I expect this offense to score 30 points per game, especially against teams like the Chargers and teams like the Patriots, right? So I've fallen into this rabbit hole, despite the fact they scored 24-1, they scored 27-1. I still feel sort of let down, and I feel like they struggled. And Josh hasn't put up numbers recently that you would hope that he would week in and week out. I mean, what are you seeing and watching his game that's maybe for you a little bit off?
Well, I think he's hurting somehow. I mean, I don't talk to him a lot, so I really don't know. I don't want to bother him, but yeah, you can tell. I mean, he's been throwing a lot of passes backside, not getting them in front of the guys. It's just not the Josh we're used to seeing. There has to be something wrong, but I'm not going to bother him. That's what the doctors and trainers are over there for, to hopefully get him back to where he was before. But you know what? His game where it's at now is so much better than so many teams in the NFL right now. So I'm not arguing. He's a heck of a quarterback, unbelievable. I enjoy watching, but of course, some of the things that I see, it's like you feel for him, and hopefully he'll start to get healthy. Hopefully, better, sooner than later, as we all hope, because as we continue to go, you want that home field advantage, at least one game playing right here at the Ralph. That's what I'm looking forward to. So hopefully I head out tomorrow to Miami to visit with some of my college roommates who still live down there. And then hopefully grabbing dinner with Marino. And then, of course, we still have our bet on him. He cannot win because we already beat him once. You have to sweep in order to get the stone crabs. So I need the Bills to win so I collect some stone crabs. But besides that, I want a home game right here. I want another AFC East crown.
For sure. Part of the offense, obviously, is Stephon Diggs, and his production is way down. I feel like he sort of needs, just to go back to your teams, Andres Lofton. I mean, does that make sense to you that he needs that sort of 1A or 2 that can be dependable a little bit more than maybe Gabe has been for him?
Well, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, Davidson's done a pretty good job. For me, I think when the running game started going a little better, that started taking receptions off of Diggs. But he's still there. He's still doing his thing, and I wish got to give him the football. Bottom line, I just hope Josh starts to feel better and starts playing the way he usually does. But he's still playing good football, but he's not playing up to Josh's standards. I'm sure he would be the first one to tell you that, because you can tell something's wrong, and it has to do with his body.
For sure. I wish I felt this was I'm not there yet, only because I lived through your time, and in your time was like my heyday as a fan, as a young man, watching you guys, and we're both around the same age, and just being around those Super Bowl teams and around you back then, and knowing what it was like between you and the Dolphins, it just doesn't feel that way now. And I don't know why that is. I mean, the two teams are really good. And I've always argued, and I think you would agree, that to have a rivalry, you both have to be good, right? You can't have like a great team and a bad team. I know people always wanted to think that the Bills and Patriots were a rivalry, but not when the Patriots had Brady and we had fill in the blank other quarterback. When it was you and Marino and Shula and Marv and the Bills and the Dolphins, it was different. And so like what needs to change? How can we build that back in, or does a lot of it have to do with there is so much turnover in the game now and social media and all of that? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that, the social media part. I just know that when it came down, you hit exactly me against Marino, which we never took that way. I mean, the fans do, which I get it. I understand that. But it was also Marvin Don Shula, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, two Hall of Fame head coaches. And it usually came down to whoever wins out of our team, Dolphins or Bills, is going to represent the AFC. And thank God we did it 4 times in a row. As a matter of fact, we did it 5 out of 6 years because we went to Cincinnati and lost a championship game. But still, to do what we did back then, it's unbelievable. Not be a team to do that again. So we need to move past that and move on now to the Josh Allen era. He's one heck of a quarterback. He's a guy that can lead us. He just has to get healthy, and I hope it's nothing serious, and we can keep cheering him on and screaming and yelling at TV.
I mean, so many people see so much of you in him in terms of arm strength, in terms of toughness. I mean, you didn't.
Athletic ability, jumping over players, no.
but seriously, you weren't afraid of taking a hit. You weren't afraid of running when you had to and when there were opportunities. Okay, you weren't hurdling people at the level that Josh does necessarily. You chose to try and run them over instead. That was your linebacker mentality at quarterback. But I feel like there's almost too much respect in the league right now, and I get it. Everybody's very even on the playing field. Some guys are a little bit ahead and some guys are a little bit behind. But back in the day, there was just, and I don't want to say it was hatred, but there was like dislike for the Dolphins. Like there was bulletin board material every single time you guys were playing against each other. There was smack talk on the field, and you just don't see that anymore. I'll pose the question. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I know the fans still get it. Sure. They still squish the fish. They all are into that like they were before. I don't know. You know what? I wish I could answer that question, but it's hard to tell. I mean, I'm not in the locker room to see what they talk about or how they prepare for each game, whether it's the Dolphins, the Jets, or the Patriots. I don't know how that locker room scene is, but I just know that when we played the Dolphins, it was special. And we knew that if we were going to move on in the playoffs, we had to beat the Dolphins. And I'm sure they thought the same thing, because I know a couple people that worked for the Dolphins that disliked me because they said that I held a lot of their paychecks out because we kept beating them when they were hoping to collect that next playoff check. So sorry, guys, but you know what? That's what it's about. I enjoyed it so much. And I still enjoy thinking about it because Dan doesn't say much to me about games that we used to play.
That's amazing. And you guys are still super close friends. And you talk frequently, it sounds like.
As a matter of fact, I think Thursday we're going to dinner, so that'll be pretty cool. And I see him a lot anyways, and he's one of my best friends and just a good guy.
It's really cool to hear that. Can you take me back? So when we were talking about the show this week and knowing that you were going to be our guest, one of our guys on our crew wanted me to ask you about one of your most famous plays, especially in this rivalry. It was September 10th, 1989. You guys are down 4 points with 2 seconds left in the game. You're on the 3-yard line. And famously, what happens?
No, and Marv said he thought that I just knew from the beginning, which I did not. I mean, it was supposed to be Ronnie Harmon was going out into the flat, and the guys that were split out to the right were going to come across, not set picks, but getting away the guys. And when I dropped back, I automatically see the safeties go, and I automatically saw the little hole. So I said, why not? And I know I got, I think, who was it, Tasker or Thurman said, I thought it was going to take them all day to get to the goal line. But the bottom line is I scored. And when I dove across, I wanted to make sure where the line was. I thought I was over, but I just wanted to make sure. And I saw the official put his hands up. And I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, everybody started jumping on me. At the beginning, I was yelling, get off, get off. And then all of a sudden, everybody started jumping on. Now, all of a sudden, I had to watch my breathing because I couldn't breathe. Everybody was on top of me. So I had to quit yelling and just pray that they would get off soon so I can breathe. Because you have to remember, that was an early game in Miami. And we know what an early game in Miami is like, especially being on that sideline where the sun hits you all game. That was no fun. But I wouldn't mind being down like we are right now. Just January in Miami, I look forward to it. And I know so many Bills fans look forward to going down to Miami in January.
Man, you made me think of something because you talked about, like being at the bottom of a big pile of, 10, 300-pound guys just sitting on top of you in that instant celebrating. And it made me think of what it must be like being the quarterback in the now famous, what's called the tush push, right? And if you guys had the tush push when you played, it's you like following Kent Hull with Carwell Gardner or somebody else pushing from behind, or maybe Metzelars. I mean, that man, you guys.
To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I think you should just. I mean, of course, there's teams that want to keep doing it, but I'll tell you what, I think that sooner or later someone's going to get hurt. But the bottom line I look at, man, that's why you draw plays. That's not a play to me. That's just something you push. And I mean, I'm against it. I don't care if they get rid of it or not, but I'd rather not see it. Have some. It's called play, and come up to the line, do a check with me. We used to do when we came up to the line of scrimmage and we're short yards and goal line. We'd come up and I'd call play in the huddle. And I'd say, check with me, 56 or 57. And whatever play I called, I'd go up, and the defense had no clue. I'd go up, I'd look at the defensive line, and I would say, if it was the way it was supposed to be, I'd say, get ready, and everybody be ready, and we'd go. But if it was on the opposite side, I'd say, opposite. And they knew the snap count. They knew that went from 56 to 57 because the line was slanted towards the strong side. So those are things I remember. I love doing it. And I thank God that I had a great coach, Marv Levy, who had a lot of trust in me calling the plays. But when we got down in the goal line, Marv called all the goal line short yards plays. So that was a blessing.
Very interesting. And going back to that September 10th, 1989 play to win the game for you, there was post-game, right after the game ends, there's video of Marv running like everybody does. Like usually the coaches now, they go out to the field, they shake hands with the other coach, and here's Marv sprinting down to the end zone to go see you. And yeah, we won. It was pretty awesome.
I think I can't remember exactly, but it's almost like he was trying to pull people off, or he wanted to jump on top.
It's crazy. And that, by the way, that set such a tone for you guys because that was coming off that AFC Championship game that you lost, right? And so here's the opening game of the year on the road at Miami. And obviously that led to the end of that year going to the Super Bowl for the first time.
There's so many great memories. And even though through all the stuff I've been through with my jaw, my mind and everything, I remember so many things from back in the day. I don't know what I did 2 weeks ago, but I'll tell you what, my daughter's like, how do you remember something happened 25 years ago? You can't even remember what you did yesterday. But I didn't ask God for, cancer, 4 times, but you know what? He's put me in a position now that I'm going cross country speaking and I'm being a difference maker. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to change people's minds that they don't want to give up in their life. They need somebody to inspire them to keep going on. And I thank the good Lord for that each and every day that he gives me that platform that I can go do that and be a difference in somebody's life.
Hey, man, you've always been a difference maker through your foundation and just being you, man, and supporting the folks in Buffalo that have hardships, and you've always been there for them, and that's why you are who you are, and that's why you are so beloved in this community, and will always be beloved in this community. So we appreciate you, and always will. You know that. Have a safe trip down to South Florida. Make sure you rub it in. Give Marino a little noogie for us. Yeah, there you go. A little
Man, he
kidney
can't
shots.
take it no more. I'm still pumped.
Yeah, buddy. But let's go, Bills. Thanks for doing the show, man. We really appreciate it. Great seeing you. We love you. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Bull, it's always good talking to you, buddy, and you've always been one of my favorites. You take care of yourself. God bless you and your family, and Happy New Year to all those listeners out there. And the last thing, Bull, that I have to say is, let's go, Buffalo!